All right, guys. I just got through watching the movie Don't Breathe. It was premiered today, and I'm not gonna give spoilers on this first half, but I will tell you a little bit about what I know. So, it's a movie about three kids that are in Detroit, and they're poor, and they gotta hustle to make money. What they do is they break into people's homes, and they steal things. One of the kids has a father who's in the security business, so he has a lot of keys to some of these houses to rich people who are stupid enough to let the security company keep a copy. They go in there to make it look like a regular robbery. They get in, they trip the alarms when they already got everything, and they take off, and they hardly ever get caught. They get wind of a house that's owned by a guy who's in an abandoned, almost it's pretty abandoned neighborhood. It's just him by himself. They get a tip that this guy has like hundreds of thousands of dollars of cash in there, and when they bump into this guy, they try to rob him. He turns out to be blind. So when they get to this house, this is when the horror starts happening. Of course, they get caught. The blind man gets the upper hand, and now he's like hunting these kids down one by one. It's a pretty intense story. There's like more than one twist to the plot, and it's very claustrophobic. It's very intense. When the lights go out and the blind man gets the upper hand, because he a blind person, he knows every inch, every square inch of the house he can walk through unless there's something in his path. He's pretty much going to be able to maneuver through like a ninja. Um, the kids, on the other hand, I keep calling them kids. So like maybe they're like late teens, maybe they're in their early 20s. They're out there, bumping in the walls and stuff. So it's pretty kind of crazy how they they try to survive. This person is called Don't Breathe because this guy can hear and smell. All his other senses are intense. So you see them covering their mouths a lot and just try not to make any kind of noise because this guy who did get the upper hand, he has military training. He's a ex war vet, and it's just going through a blind maze and trying to survive and try to get out because he keeps the place locked up, and you figure out why this place is so secure. And I thought that this was going to be a typical like slasher, not slasher movie, but typical like gory kind of movie, like a Saw like movie, or I forgot the name of this other movie where this guy just creates these traps in the house and whatnot. I thought it was going to be something like that, but it turned out it wasn't, and it made the plot that much more interesting. Overall, I gotta say it's a must see. It's very intense. It keeps you. I'm telling you, I'm telling you right now, there was the most ghetto people in the world watching this movie with me right now, and they even told me they were gonna talk during the whole movie. Even they shut the hell up throughout the movie. That's how good this movie was. So I say go check it out. All right, so now I'm gonna get into some spoilers in this mug. So all right, if you don't want to be spoiled, here it comes. All right, 5, 4, 3, spoiler time. Now, when you figure out that this isn't like a situation where he rigs the house up to hunt people down and whatnot, you realize he's just a regular dude. He's a guy who just wants to be left alone, and the longer these two survive, after the first one there's three kids and one gets shot, but after the main two are surviving as long as they can, you learn that this is an old man who a long time ago he lost his daughter. I guess a hit and run accident, or some woman, I guess maybe she was drunk, kills his daughter. He's distraught about it, um, and he kidnaps her. The woman who ran over his daughter. Turns out that she's some rich brat, and it kind of goes on with that kind of what's been going on in the news lately. The guy who got drunk and killed, ran over some people, and but this girl runs over his daughter, kills her, and she gets away with it. Like he says, the rich don't really get punished. So he finds her. I don't know how. It doesn't explain that much. The dude is blind, and he kidnaps her. And then you think, wow, that's a crazy thing, crazy plot. So he rigs his basement up where it's hard to escape. Um, and he locks it all. That's why you figure out why everything's all locked up. But then the plot gets thicker and thicker when when you figure out that he not only kidnaps her, this girl took away his daughter. So you owe me a daughter. Is the mentality? So it's like when you find out that he impregnated her. And it's like, and he says, once she gave me my new child, I was gonna let her go, which didn't make any sense to me. Come on, I mean, the dude, uh, he's got kidnapping, he's a murderer, and all this stuff. There's no way he's gonna let anybody go. Even when they get the upper hand back up on against them again, and they find the money, and they're gonna get and they're gonna try to escape. Even then, it was like, okay, he's not gonna call the cops. I mean, you broke in, all this stuff just went down, people died. He's gonna keep it quiet because he's done more than you did. You just broke in, entering, and you tried to rob him. He murdered people, kidnapped people. He's a rapist. I mean, even though he doesn't think of himself as a rapist, I won't spoil that part of it. But it's so many twists and turns. You're gonna love it. So if you stuck around for this spoiler side, you know you haven't watched the movie yet. Shame on you, but you're gonna still enjoy the ride. The very, very end of it, I'm not gonna give away. You gotta check it out. I'm gonna say this movie. I'm ranking it high. It's up there, man. You gotta check it out. I remember one particular part of the movie. It reminded me of that old movie. I think it was called Blind Fury. I kept thinking to myself, not bad for a blind man. And this guy was oh my God, it was very menacing. His voice even sounded like, it reminded me of Bane, the way he talked. When his victim, his new victim, the girl in the movie, the love interest or whatever, she started to pray to God, asking God to save her. And there's no God. The way he spoke, I'm like, is this Bane? He's like, it's all a joke. There is no God. What God would allow this? The guy was nuts. So, and the fact that it wasn't like a setup, like he didn't plan to live his life like this and whatnot, he just kind of rigged his house a little bit so his kidnapped victim wouldn't escape. And the only trick to it was turning off the lights to try to get the upper hand of the people who broke in. It made it that much more crazy and intense because it's like, you understood this guy, but then this guy was like too crazy. So it was like you were caught in that whirlwind. It's like you knew who to root for, but at the same time, it's like you still kind of feeling bad for him because you understood him. The rich kind. You feel like if you're a poor person, you feel like you're always getting the shaft. So it's not. You're not in a moment where you're gonna root for. No one's a good guy in this situation, but you don't want some guy who's done this to get away with it. But at the same time, you didn't want what happened to him to have happened to him. So it's like, wow. So you just watch the movie and you enjoy the intensity of it. So I mean, that's my take on it. I loved it. Sean, I wish you would have been there to see it. Go check it out. Let me know after you guys check this movie out. After you've been spoiled, give me your comments. Hit the subscribe button. I bumped into a fan at the movie. I'm out there getting popcorn, and somebody recognized me and said, "You gonna give a review after this?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "I'm a subscriber." I'm like, "All right." So shout out to, I didn't catch your name. I'm sorry. I was trying not to miss the movie, but shout out to you if I'll recognize you if you send a comment, if you have a picture on your Gmail. So if you send a comment and if it's you, I'm giving you a shout out. Let me know what your name is. I'll look for you the next time, and I'll give you an interview. I'll remember you. I remember what you look like. So shout out to you, whoever you are. Appreciate you hollering at me at the concession stand. I didn't expect it. That's why I was so brief, because I didn't expect it. But I appreciate it. And again, let me know what you guys think. Hit the subscribe button. Hit that like button. We give away free movie tickets ourselves. We're giving away a console at the end of the road when we hit 1,000. So I guess that's all I got to say about it. I got to get on the road. So till next time.